The door to our cramped dorm room flew open with a bang that rattled the cheap wooden frame, steam billowing out from the bathroom like a ghost escaping its grave. I stood there frozen, towel slipping from my fingers to the linoleum floor, my skin still slick and flush from the scalding shower. Joshua's eyes, those sharp blue ones I'd known since we were kids throwing rocks at cans in his backyard, locked onto me. Not my face, but lower. And in that split second, the world cracked open, raw and unforgiving. "Holy fuck." "Elias," he choked out, his voice a jagged whisper that sliced through the humid air, his backpack thudding to the ground like a body hitting pavement. He didn't look away. Couldn't. And neither could I. Time stretched thin as a razor wire, humming with something electric and terrifying that neither of us had ever named. I snatched the towel up, wrapping it around my waist like armor that felt paper thin, my heart slamming against my ribs like it was trying to bust free. "Josh, get out," I managed, but my voice cracked, betraying the lie that this was just awkward, just a dumb accident between bros. Because in his stare, I saw it, the flicker of recognition, the unspoken question that had been lurking in the corners of our friendship for years, now dragged kicking and screaming into the light. We'd been inseparable since freshman year of high school in Ann Arbor, Michigan, two misfits bonded over late-night Xbox marathons and sneaking beers from his dad's garage fridge. Joshua Harlan was the golden boy type on the surface, quarterback on a JV team, easy grin that could charm teachers out of extra credit, and a laugh that filled rooms like sunlight spilling through blinds. Me, Elias Grant, the quiet artist kid with paint-stained jeans and a sketchbook always tucked under my arm, sketching the curve of his jawline when he wasn't looking. We balanced each other, his chaos to my calm, his fire to my steady burn. College hit us like a freight train that fall of 2023. University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, the big house roaring on game days, the diagram alive with protests and street performers under those ancient oaks. We'd lucked into a double in South Quad, a shoebox of a room with bunk beds we immediately ditched for two twins pushed against opposite walls, a mini fridge humming like a perpetual hangover cure, and posters of the Strokes and vintage Wolverine football taped crookedly over cinderblock walls. Freedom tasted like stale pizza at 2 a.m., and the sharp tang of cheap whiskey passed between us during all-nighters cramming for intro psych. But that afternoon in October, 3 weeks into our freshman year, everything shifted. I'd just come back from a brutal figure drawing class, muscles aching from holding poses, and hit the shower to wash off the charcoal dust. The dorm's ancient plumbing groaned like it was on its last legs. Water pressure so weak it was more mist than spray. I didn't hear the door over the rush in my ears. Didn't think twice about not locking it. Josh was supposed to be at practice till 5. When he burst in, late from a team meeting that ran over, the air between us thickened instantly. He froze in the doorway, his U-Mitch hoodie slung over one shoulder, gym bag dangling from his hand. Water droplets trailed down my chest, pooling at my feet. And yeah, I was buck naked, every insecure inch of me exposed under the harsh fluorescent buzz. His gaze dropped, lingered 2 beats, 3, before snapping back to my eyes. Those blue irises, usually sparkling with mischief, went dark, pupils blown wide like he'd been punched in the gut. I yanked the towel up, heat flooding my face, but not just from embarrassment. There was something else, a pull low in my belly, a awareness that made my skin prickle. "Dude, ever heard of knocking?" I forced to laugh, but it came out strangled, like I'd swallowed glass. Josh blinked, shaking his head as if clearing fog. "Shit. Sorry. Man. Coach kept us." I didn't think. He turned, fumbling for the door handle. but not before I caught the flush creeping up his neck, the way his fingers clenched white-knuckled. He bolted into the hall, doors slamming behind him, leaving me alone with the echo of my pounding heart. I dressed in a haze, jeans that felt too tight, a faded Nirvana tee that smelled like dorm laundry soap. By the time I cracked the door, Josh was sprawled on his bed, scrolling his phone like it held the secrets to the universe. But his jaw was set, that telltale muscle ticking. Practice sucked, he muttered without looking up. Rain turned the field into a swamp. You good? Yeah. Totally. Lie. My sketchbook lay open on my desk. A half-finished drawing of him from last week, his profile against a stormy lake. Eyes distant. I snapped it shut, heart twisting. I'd known I was gay since sophomore year. That confusing crush on the theater kid who'd kissed me behind the bleachers at homecoming. But Josh? He was straight as an arrow. Dated Sarah from Chem Lab last spring. Posted shirtless beach pics with girls draped over him like it was no big deal. This was just a fluke, right? Brothers see bros naked in locker rooms all the time. No biggie. We ordered Domino's that night, extra pepperoni. The works, and cracked open a six-pack of Labatt Blue his older brother had snuck us. The TV droned some Lions game, but neither of us watched. The air hummed with unspoken static. Every glance a landmine. Remember that time in 8th grade? Josh said finally, voice casual as he nursed his beer. Skinny dipping in Lake Huron? Coach made us run laps for it. I snorted, relief flooding me. Yeah, and you screamed like a girl when that fish brushed your leg. We laughed. The sound brittle but real, patching over the crack. By midnight, we were shoulder to shoulder on the floor, controllers in hand, blasting through Resident Evil co-op. Normal. Safe. But sleep didn't come easy. I lay staring at the ceiling cracks that looked like lightning bolts, replaying his eyes on me, curious, hungry, gone in a flash. What if he'd seen it too? The thing I'd buried deep, the secret that could torch our friendship to ash. I rolled over, punching my pillow, willing the what-ifs away. College was for reinvention, not ruin. The next week blurred into a rhythm of lectures and late shifts at the campus coffee shop, where I slung overpriced lattes to stressed undergrads. Josh threw himself into football, practices till dark, weights that left him groaning on the foam roller we'd crammed under his bed. We fell into old patterns, him venting about coaches' bullshit drills, me doodling caricatures of professors on napkins. But the undercurrent lingered, subtle as a bruise. Then came Joseph. We'd met him at a Kappa Sig rush party the Friday after midterms, sweaty basement, red Solo cups, bass thumping from speakers that shook the walls. Joseph Reyes, junior transfer from UCLA, all lean muscle and easy swagger, with olive skin and a smile that promised trouble. He was studying poli-sci, minoring in film, and had this way of quoting Springsteen lyrics mid-conversation like it was scripture. Josh and him hit it off over shots of Fireball, bonding over growing up in flyover states, Josh from Michigan's thumb, Joseph from rural Ohio. I hung back, nursing a beer, sketching the chaos in my notebook, frat bros chugging, girls in crop tops dancing on tables. But Joseph zeroed in on me, sliding onto the couch with a grin. You're the artist, right? Josh says you draw like you're stealing souls. His knee brushed mine. Accidental. But my pulse jumped. We talked for hours, Scorsese films. The grit of Detroit's ruins. How Reagan-era policies screwed over Rust Belt kids like us. He was out, unapologetic, with stories of pride parades in L.A. that made my chest ache with envy. By last call, Josh was buzzed, arms slung around Joseph's shoulders. The three of us stumbling back to South Quad under sodium streetlights. This guy's solid, Josh slurred, clapping my back. Both of you. My crew. Joseph laughed, eyes flicking to me with a warmth that lingered too long. That night, as Josh snored off the booze, I lay awake. Joseph's cologne, something woodsy and sharp, clinging to my hoodie. He was everything I wasn't: bold, unafraid. And in the dark, with Josh's steady breathing across the room, I wondered if I'd ever have the guts to be that free. The awkwardness with Josh thawed over the next few days, buried under pizza, runs, and study sessions. But Joseph became a fixture, study group in the library, grabbing Connie's at Lafayette after games. He and Josh clicked like puzzle pieces, their banter laced with that effortless bro energy. I catch Josh watching him sometimes, a furrow in his brow, like he was piecing together a riddle. One crisp November evening, after a Wolverines win that had the campus erupting in blue and maize chaos, we piled into Joseph's beat-up Jeep for a bonfire at his buddy's off-campus house. The air smelled of burning oak and spilled natty light, stars sharp overhead like diamond chips. We sat in a circle on logs, flames licking high, shadows dancing on faces flushed from a heat. Joseph pulled out a flask of Jack, passing it around. To surviving midterms, he toasted, his eyes on Josh. Their fingers brushed as Josh took it, and something in Josh's posture shifted, shoulders relaxing, a soft exhale. I looked away, sketching flames in the dirt with a stick, my stomach nodding. Later, as embers died to glow, Joseph leaned into me by the cooler. "You okay, Elias? You've been quiet." His voice was low, genuine, cutting through the night hum. "Just tired," I lied, forcing a smile. But his hand on my arm, firm, steady, sent a spark up my spine. "Hey, if you ever want to talk. Or not talk. I'm around." I nodded, throat tight. He squeezed once, then walked away to rib Josh about a fumbled play. Watching them, Josh's laugh booming, Joseph's head thrown back, I felt the first real pang of something dangerous. Jealousy? No. Deeper. Like I was on the outside of a door I'd never knock on. Back in the dorm, Josh collapsed onto his bed, reeking of smoke. "Joseph's cool as hell," he mumbled, peeling off his hoodie. "Think he's into me or something?" "Nah, right?" He laughed it off, but his eyes searched mine in the dim lamplight, vulnerable, waiting. My heart stuttered. "Dude, you're straight." Sarah was. I trailed off, the naked moment flashing unbidden. Josh's grin faded. "Yeah, Sarah." He rolled away, back to me, the silence stretching heavy. I stared at the ceiling, the crack lightning mocking me. Secrets were piling up like unread texts, each one a step closer to detonation. Little did I know, the fuse was already lit. Winter quarter slammed into us like a Michigan nor'easter, blizzards blanketing the campus in white. Paths to class slick with ice that sent freshmen like us skidding into snowbanks. The dorm heater clanked like a dying engine, forcing us to huddle under thrift store blankets for movie nights. Popcorn kernels scattering like confetti. Josh and I settled into a fragile normalcy, the shower incident fading to a ghost story we never retold. But Joseph? He was the wild card, weaving into our lives like frost creeping over windows. He started crashing our room more, sprawled on Josh's bed with poli-sci notes, debating Supreme Court cases till our eyes burned. I'd sketch him sometimes, quick lines capturing the tilt of his head, the way his lashes cast shadows when he laughed. Josh noticed once, peering over my shoulder. "Damn, Elias. You make him look like a movie star." There was no accusation in his tone, just that easy admiration, but it twisted something in me. One night in early December, after a brutal exam week, Joseph showed up with a bottle of Maker's Mark and a deck of cards. "Poker night," he declared, kicking the door shut against the howling wind. We clear the desk, stacking textbooks like barricades, and Dell hands under the harsh desk lamp. Josh won the first round, crowing like he'd just thrown a Hail Mary. But Joseph, cool as ever, bounced back, his bluff sharp as switchblades. By the third hand, the whiskey had loosened tongues. Stories spilled out. Joseph's conservative folks in Ohio, disowning his cousin for coming out, Josh's dad, a GM line worker laid off in '08, drowning regrets in Bud Light, my mom, single in Detroit, juggling 2 jobs and my little sister's braces. Family's fucked, Joseph said, dealing another round, his voice edged with old pain. But we choose our own, right? Josh met his eyes, something passing between them, raw, unspoken. Yeah, he said softly. Like this. He gestured at us, but his gaze stuck on Joseph, lingering a beat too long. I folded my hand, cards crumpling in my fist. The room felt smaller, air thick with the scent of bourbon and unspoken wants. When Joseph won the pot, our dignity and a few bucks, he leaned across to high-five Josh, their palms slapping, fingers intertwining for a split second. Josh pulled back like burned, laughing it off, but his cheeks were pink. That was the night it cracked open for real. After Joseph left, zipping up against the cold, Josh paced the room, hands raking through his hair. Elias. Man, what if I'm not? He stopped, words dying on his tongue. Not what? I pressed, sitting on my bed, sketchbook forgotten. My pulse thrummed, hope, fear, a cocktail that soured in my veins. He sank onto his mattress, elbows on knees, straight. Like, Sarah was fun, but it felt off, scripted. And Joseph, he gets me, you know, the pressure, the bullshit. His voice dropped. That day in the bathroom, seeing you, it messed with my head. Not bad messed. Just real. The world tilted. I swallowed hard, throat dry as dorm toast. Josh, it's okay. Whatever you're feeling, it's okay. God, I wanted to reach out, bridge the gap, but my hand stayed fisted in the blanket. This was his moment, not mine to hijack. He looked up, eyes searching mine, vulnerable, like the kid who'd cried when his dog died. You get it, right? You've always gotten it. I nodded, the lie bitter. He didn't know my half. The years of hiding crushes on guys like him. The ache of prom night alone in my room while he slow danced with homecoming queen. Yeah, I get it. We didn't say more. Just crashed with the lamp still on. Shadows pooling like secrets. But sleep evaded me. Mind racing. If Josh was questioning, cracking open, what did that mean for us? For the thing I'd buried since high school hallways? Christmas break scattered us. Me to Detroit's gray slush and Mom's overcooked turkey. Josh to his folks' farm up north, where cell service was a myth and family dinners meant grace over venison. Joseph texted the group chat sporadically, memes about cabin fever, links to queer holiday playlists that made my chest tighten. Miss you assholes, he'd write, and I'd stare at the screen, thumb hovering over reply. Back in Ann Arbor for winter interim. The campus fell haunted, empty quads dusted with snow, holiday lights twinkling like false promises. Josh and I reunited at the airport shuttle, bear hugging like soldiers home from war. Brought you something, he said, shoving a wrapped package into my hands, a leather-bound sketchbook, embossed with a tiny wolverine. For your genius shit. My throat closed. Thanks, man. Inside, a note to the guy who sees everything. Gee, Joseph rolled into town a day later, and we dove into the break's lazy haze, ice skating on the frozen Huron River, where Josh wiped out spectacularly. Joseph hauling him up with laughter echoing over the ice, bonfires in the arboretum, roasting marshmallows till they char black. One evening, as flurries danced under street lamps, Joseph pulled Josh aside by the frozen duck pond. I pretended not to watch from a path, breath fogging the air. They talked low, heads close, Joseph's hand on Josh's arm, steadying. When they broke apart, Josh's face was flushed, not from cold. He jogged back to me, grin wide but shaky. Walk with me. We crunched through snow, shoulders brushing. He kissed me. Josh blurted finally, voice hushed like confession. Just testing. It was intense. My stomach plummeted, a free fall into ice water. And I liked it. He stopped, turning to me, snowflakes catching in his lashes. A lot. Elias, what the hell does that make me? It makes you, I said, forcing steadiness. Human. Brave. Lies I was screaming inside. Jealousy, a venom twisting my guts. Joseph, with his easy confidence, had unlocked something in Josh that I'd only glimpsed in stolen glances. That night, the three of us crammed into a dive bar off State Street. Neon signs buzzing Go Blue, jukebox crooning Springsteen. Beers flowed, stories louder, but under the table, Joseph's knee pressed against Josh's. Deliberate. I nursed my pint, sketching coasters, the pencil lead snapping under pressure. By closing time, Josh was buzzed, leaning into Joseph as we stumbled out into the biting cold. Elias, you crash at the quad, Joseph said, arm around Josh's waist. We'll cab it. I nodded, numb, watching their taillights fade. Back in the empty dorm, I punched the wall once, hard, knuckles splitting, blood warm on my skin. Why him? Why not? No. Josh was my best friend, not my fantasy. But the ache said otherwise, a secret festering like an untreated wound. January thawed into a brutal cold snap. Classes resuming with the grind of syllabi and snow-shoveled paths. Joseph and Josh were official now, hand-holding in a union. Stolen kisses behind the lecture hall that I accidentally walked in on once, forcing a grin and a thumbs up. Proud of you, man, I told Josh privately, meaning it even as it gutted me. But cracks showed early. Joseph had a temper, quick flares over nothing. Like Josh forgetting a coffee run or laughing too loud at a straight guy's dumb joke. You're embarrassing me, he'd snap, low and cutting, then apologize with that killer smile. Josh brushed it off, he stressed. Finals. I saw more, though, the way Josh flinched at sudden touches. How his laughs grew forced. One night, after a party where Joseph got wasted and flirted shamelessly with a lacrosse bro, Josh stumbled in alone, eyes red-rimmed. He thinks I'm too. New at this. Like I'm faking. Bullshit, I growled, handing him water. You're real. He's the one who's scared. Josh collapsed beside me on the bed. Our beds now inches apart, boundaries blurred in the dim. What if he's right? His head dropped to my shoulder, heavy, trusting. I froze, arm hovering before wrapping around him. The scent of his shampoo, clean, familiar, flooding me. You're enough, I whispered, heart hammering. In that moment, with his breath warm on my neck, I almost confessed. Almost. But the words stuck, barbed wire in my throat. Instead, I held him till he slept, staring into the dark, the weight of unspoken love crushing my chest like an anchor. February brought Valentine's, campus overrun with heart balloons and overpriced chocolates. Joseph planned a big night, dinner at Zingerman's, then a show at the Ark. I bowed out gracefully, claiming a shift at the coffee shop. Truth, I couldn't watch them anymore. The way Joseph's hand claimed Josh's like territory. Alone in the dorm, I sketched furiously, raw lines of tangled bodies that weren't theirs, but us. Hypotheticals that haunted my dreams. My phone buzzed, a text from an old high school friend, coming out after years of silence. Finally free, it read. I envied him, fingers itching to type my own truth. But freedom had a price. The next day, Josh burst in post-date. Face ashen. He proposed we open things. Said I'm holding him back. His voice broke. Elias, I love him. But this, it feels wrong. I pulled him into a hug, bro hug. I told myself, his body fitting against mine like it belonged. You deserve better. Someone who sees you. All of you. He pulled back. I searching mine. Inches away. Like who? The air crackled. That shower moment echoing. I could lean in, bridge it. But fear won. Fear of losing him entirely. Someone who deserves you, I said, stepping back. He deflated, nodding. Yeah, that lie planted the seed of the storm, the misunderstanding that would rip us apart. Spring crept in slow, melting snow into muddy rivulets that soaked our sneakers on the trek to class. Cherry blossoms dusted the diagram like pink confetti, but the thaw couldn't touch the ice in our room. Josh and Joseph's open talk hung like smog, Josh withdrawing into practices and parties, coming home reeking of frat house regret. I'd patch him up with greasy diner fries and bad jokes, but the distance grew, a chasm widening with every forced smile. Joseph sensed it, or maybe he didn't care. He started staying out later, posting stories from bars I didn't recognize, arms around strangers, captions like living my truth, no regrets. Josh scrolled him in bed, jaw clenched, deleting threads before I could see. It's fine, he'd mutter when I asked. We're figuring it out, but I saw the toll, the shadows under his eyes, the way he'd zone out mid-conversation, staring at the wall like it held answers. One rainy April afternoon, after a psych lecture on attachment theory that hit too close, I cornered him in the room. This isn't healthy. Josh, talk to me. He paced, rain lashing the window like accusations. He's pushing me to be more. Like, hook up with others. Prove I'm committed. His laugh was hollow. Committed. We're joke. That's not love, I said, voice steady despite the rage boiling. That's control. Josh stopped, eyes flashing. You don't get it, Elias. You got your shit figured, drawing your feelings out like therapy. Me, I'm flailing. And Joseph's the only one who's ever. He trailed off, sinking onto his bed. Ever what? I pressed, sitting beside him, close enough to feel his warmth. Made me feel seen. His gaze dropped to his hands, twisting the hem of his tee, the same one from the shower day, faded but familiar. That moment with you. It woke something. But Joseph? He gets the rest. The confusion. My chest caved. Seen. The word I'd craved. Handed to someone else. I'm here. Man. For all of it. He looked up. Vulnerability cracking his armor. I know. A beat. Heavy. Hey. You ever think about us? Like, back then, the question hung. A live wire. Rain drummed a frantic rhythm. I could lie. Deflect. But the dam broke. Every day, I whispered. Since high school. The sketches. The late nights, it's always been you. Josh. But I buried it. For this. I gestured between us. Friendship. Fragile as frost. His eyes widened. Shock rippling across his face. Then soft. Dawning. Recognition. Elias. He reached out. Hand cupping my jaw. Thumb brushing my cheek. Time fractured. The world narrowing to his touch. His breath mingling with mine. We leaned in slow. Inevitable. The kiss tentative at first. lips brushing like a question. Then deeper. Hungry. Years of unspoken pouring out. His hands in my hair, mine on his waist, pulling him closer. It was fire and rain, confession and absolution. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, laughter bubbling up through tears. Fuck, he breathed. Why didn't we? A key scraped in the lock. Joseph burst in, soaked from the downpour, eyes narrowing at us, tangled, flushed. What the hell? The room iced over. Josh sprang back, wiping his mouth like guilt. Joe, it's not what? Joseph's voice was venom, bag hitting the floor with a wet thud. He rounded on me, face twisted. You? Stealing my boyfriend? After all the shit I've done for you. Stealing. I shot up, fury igniting. Josh isn't property. And this, I waved at the space between us, isn't about you. He laughed, bitter. Oh, please. I've seen you mooning over him since day one. Those creepy drawings? The way you hover? Pathetic. Josh stepped forward, voice shaking. Stop. Elias is my best friend. This was a mistake. The word landed like a slap. Mistake. I reeled, vision blurring. Josh, get out. Joseph snarled at me. Both of you make me sick. Josh hesitated, torn, then nodded to the door. Elias, give us space. I grabbed my jacket, storming into the hall, rain soaking me instantly. The slam echoed like finality. Leaning against the wall, chest heaving, I slid down, sobs racking me. Betrayed, not just by Joseph, but by Josh's fear, his choice. That night blurred into a haze of cheap motel and bottom-shelf vodka. My phone blowing up with texts. Josh, I'm sorry. Please. Joseph, stay away. Freak. I deleted them all, curling into the thin sheets. The kisses ghost on my lips a cruel tease. Morning brought clarity, sharp as shattered glass. I couldn't hide anymore. Back at the dorm, bag packed for a hypothetical crash at a cousin's in Detroit. I faced them. Joseph lounged on Josh's bed. Proprietary. Josh perched on mine. Wrecked. I'm done, I said, voice even. With the lies, the tiptoeing. Josh, that kiss, not a mistake. It's truth. But if you're choosing this, nod to Joseph, then I'm out. Joseph smirked. Good riddance. Josh's face crumpled. Elias. Wait. No. I turned to him, memorizing the curve of his mouth. The worry lines I'd sketched 100 times. You deserve real. Fight for it, or let it go. I walked out, door clicking soft behind me. The diagram waited, blossoms mocking with their fragile beauty. The fallout hit like a Category 5. Whispers spread, frat gossip, group chat leaks. Joseph, ever the spin doctor, painted me as the obsessed stalker, the guy who tried to seduce his straight best friend. Text from mutuals, dude. Back off. Even our old high school crew chimed in, siding with the narrative because Joseph's charm was a weapon. Josh went radio silent, swallowed by practices and Joseph's orbit. I crashed on an art major's floor. Lila, a goth pixie with piercings and empathy, nursing black coffee and bruised pride. Fuck him, she said, passing a joint. Your art's better than their drama. But art couldn't fill the void. I poured into canvases, raw abstracts of blues and reds. Fractures and fusions, titled Unseen. Midterms loomed, but focus shattered. I'd stare at lecture slides, seeing Josh's eyes instead. Then the bomb, a leaked photo. Someone snapped us mid-kiss, grainy, but unmistakable, posted to a shady campus forum with the caption Dorm Slut Strikes. Comments exploded, slurs, laughs. Knew he was queer. My phone became a minefield. I powered it off, world narrowing to studio hours and takeout. Lila found me there one night, paint smeared and hollow. Joseph's talking shit. Says you're unstable. That Josh is scared of you. Rage. White hot. Scared? He's the one hiding. She hugged me. Fierce. Then show him. No more hiding. I didn't sleep. Dawn broke gray. Resolve hardening. I marched to South Quad. Key still in my pocket. Trust Josh hadn't changed the locks. The room was empty. Practice? Probably. I left a note on my old desk spot. Not a stalker. Just a guy who loved wrong. Burn the sketches if you want. But know this, you're worth more than his games. Taped to it, the leather sketchbook he'd given me. Filled now with our story, innocent portraits evolving to that kiss. Raw and unfiltered. My truth lay bare. I fled to the Arb, sinking onto a bench by the Huron. Water churning muddy. Hours passed. Birds chattered mockingly. Then footsteps. Josh. Alone. Jacket zipped to his chin. Eyes shadowed. He clutched the sketchbook. Pages fluttering in the breeze. Elias. One word. And I broke. What do you want? Josh. To apologize? To warn me off. He sat. Close but not touching. To explain. Voice cracked. Joseph. He twisted it. Made me doubt everything. Said you manipulated me. That the kiss was pity. He opened the book. Fingers tracing a line by line. His profile. But this, it's you. Real. Tears stung. And him? What's he say now? Gone. Josh's laugh was shattered glass. Caught him with that lacrosse guy. An hour your bed. Said I was too vanilla for his scene. Betrayal's echo. Double-edged. I reached. Tentative. Our hands linking. Cold fingers warming. I'm sorry. No. He turned. Eyes fierce. I'm the one who chose wrong. Feared losing him more than finding. Us. The R blurred. Blossoms swirling. Us. A nod. Tentative. If you'll have me. Scared. Stupid me. I pulled him in. Kiss salt-tanged with tears, deeper than before. Anchored. But joy fractured quick, his phone buzzed. Joseph's name flashing. He silenced it, but the damage lingered. We're not done, I warned. He won't let go easy. Josh's grip tightened. Then we face it. Together. Famous last words. May bloomed riotous, tulips riding in planters. Finals a gauntlet of all-nighters under fluorescent hum. Josh and I rebuilt tentative. Stolen moments in the chaos. Coffee-fueled study dates and hatcher stacks. Hands brushing overshared notes. Walks along the Huron at dusk. Fingers laced. Talking futures like they weren't fragile. He came out to his folks over shaky FaceTime. His dad's gruff, love you. Son. Always, his mom's teary recipes for boyfriend casseroles. Mine? Mom hugged me over the phone. Fierce. Brought you into this world queer and proud. Baby. Own it. Joseph. Though. Festered like an infection. He didn't vanish. He metastasized, stalking our Insta, showing up at Josh's games with that fake ally grin, whispering to teammates about the drama. Whispers turned to shouts one Friday night at a house party off Hill Street, bass thumping, bodies packed, sweat slick. We arrived together, Josh's hand in mine, a quiet rebellion. Eyes followed, murmurs rippling. Joseph held court in the kitchen, red cup in hand, surrounded by his poli-sci crew. He spotted us, smile sharpening to a blade. Look who showed. The dynamic duo. Josh tensed, but I squeezed his hand. Hey, Joe. Water under the bridge. His laugh barked. Bridge? You torpedoed my relationship. Elias. Gaslit my man here into thinking he wanted. This. Gesture at us. Dismissive. Josh stepped forward. Voice steel. Your relationship? Built on lies and side pieces? Nah. I'm done apologizing. Crowd hushed. Phones slipping out, vultures circling. Joseph's face modeled. Your phase. Harlan. A straight boy experimenting. He'll wake up. Ditch the artsy fag. The slap echoed, Josh's palm cracking across Joseph's cheek. Red, blooming instant. Gasps. Whoops. Joseph reeled, eyes wild. You hit me? For him. For me, Josh snarled. For truth. We're over. All of it. Chaos erupted, bros pulling them apart. Lila materializing to drag me back as fists flew. Josh broke free, bloodied lip but standing tall, eyes locked on mine across the fray. Elias. I shoved through, grabbing his arm. Let's go. We bolted into the night, adrenaline singing, laughter bubbling hysterical as we ran. Under a street lamp, he kissed me, fierce, claiming blood-tasting coppery. That felt good, but good didn't last. Monday brought the backlash. University conduct board emails. Joseph's complaint painting Josh as aggressor. Me as instigator. Teammates iced him out. Coach benching him for distractions. Social media lit up, "You Michigan hate." Slurs tagging us. Doxing my sketches as creepy queer art. Josh crumbled under it. Withdrawing to the farm for a break. Text dwindled. Need space. Love you. I paced the empty dorm. Our dorm now mine, panic clawing. Lila rallied, petitions, ally marches on the diagram. But doubt gnawed. Was I the poison? The change that ruined him? Climax hit mid-June. Summer session, simmering humid. A knock shattered the quiet. Joseph, uninvited, reeking of stale beer. He's here, he sneered, shoving past. No, Josh. Behind him. Face gaunt. Eyes haunted. What the? I started. But Josh cut in. Voice wrecked. He found out. About the kiss. The photo. Convinced me it was all a setup. You and me. To humiliate him. Tears tracked his cheeks. Said you'd been plotting since the shower. Twisting my head. My world imploded. Josh. No. Joseph smirked from the door. Told you. Obsessive. But Josh's gaze sharpened. Flicking to the sketchbook on my desk, the one I'd left. He grabbed it. Flipping pages. Joseph's lies fracturing under ink and memory. This is love. Not plot. He rounded on Joseph. Fury blazing. You used me. Feared I'd see through your bullshit facade, the open thing, the flirting. All to keep control. Joseph paled. You're delusional. Get out. Josh's voice thundered. Unyielding. I tell everyone your real secret. The coke deals you think I don't know about. The reason you transferred from UCLA. Bluff or truth? Joseph's eyes darted. Calculating. Then he bolted. Door slamming like gunshot. Silence crashed. Josh turned to me. Broken open. Forgive me? For doubting. I crossed the room. Pulling him close. Tears mingling. Bodies trembling. Always. But no more doubts. We're in this messy. Real. He nodded. Kiss sealing it soft. Healing. Summer wove us tighter. Road trip to Chicago. Lakefront picnics where he sketched me for once. Clumsy lines that made me laugh. Fall brought sophomore year. Us out and proud. Rainbow pins on backpacks. Hands held through protests for trans rights on the steps of the Union. Joseph's shadow faded, expelled after Josh's anonymous tip panned out. A quiet justice. We weren't perfect. Fights flared, his lingering straight boy habits. My trust scars, but we talked. Raw and relentless. Therapy sessions in the counseling center. Date nights at blind pig speakeasies. Dreams shared under dorm blankets. Graduation loomed distant. But that shower moment? It birthed us, not destruction, but dawn. In a world quick to judge, we chose empathy over erasure, love over fear. Human, flawed, unbreakable, and in quiet moments, foreheads touching under cherry blossoms. I knew some changes scar, but the best ones heal.